Hey there, today we're going to have a nail session using cake gel, and I will be doing my nails to demonstrate how to use these type of new gels. Let's get into it. Hey there, welcome back. My name is Paola of paolaponcenails.com, and I help current and aspiring nail techs become thriving entrepreneurs by mastering all of their services using Japanese soft gel only. If this sounds like a niche you'd like to consider exploring, then at the end of this video, do consider subscribing. So this type of gel is actually super easy to apply. Before I go ahead and do my nails with it, let's just go over some questions. I think we're all kind of in the same, state of as far as like, what is this new concept? So when it is in a box or a little cartridge like this, people or companies are calling these type of gel like cake and gel. As far as I know, the first company I saw to carry it was Myth Milo, and it is carried by the distributors Zillabeau. I'll link you down below if you're interested. And I got very curious, and then I also saw Leaf Gel starting to debut theirs, and then I saw, I think, another company, maybe Madame Glam, and doing theirs. So I'm just kind of like, ooh, what is this? Like, let's try it. Apparently it's going to get kind of popular, and it's definitely going to intrigue people. So yes, I got me a little cartridge, a little case, a little palette of this super shiny cake gel again. And I also asked one of my friends on Instagram like what she thought, because she was using another brand and she was using the solid color, and I actually saw her use it for line work, and she actually was not a fan of it for line work. And so again, as I saw more companies bringing it up and I kind of just read on it a little bit more, it seems like it's great for gradation. You can use it as solid color, like for an entire nail, that's fine too. But this is, I think, probably like the next generation, the next step in making ombres and gradation designs like super easy. And that is because of one of the characteristics that I came about with cake gel, and that is that it's like a thick viscosity gel that is still buttery firmness. I know, try to wrap your mind around that, right? That allows the color to suspend and self-level. So every bit of gel, literally every piece of gel that you grab with your brush has like the correct product or color ratio. Like you don't need any stirring. You don't, like sometimes with pots or bottles, if you haven't used them in a while, they kind of separate. But it's kind of rare with Japanese gel and Korean gels. But still, right? Like sometimes there's a little bit of stirring that has to occur. Or your glitters kind of like settled down on the bottom of your pots or bottles. So the value proposition here, I think, is that, hey, you know what? Every little piece of gel that you work with will be equally as pigmented, equally as sparkly. Like the color suspension will be there. It will not run into the cuticle. Like that's another property, right? And what else? Like gradation, ombre, we got you. I think that's their value proposition. So it did take me a while to kind of figure out, okay, well, I it's not that I hate trends, but I'm sure you feel like me, like, okay, how is this going to help my business? Is it going to make me faster? Is it going to make something technical super easy? Is it something that my clients won't resist wanting to add to their service, right? Those are three questions that really increase our bottom line, right? If we get them answered with the correct answer. And that's why you want to try trends. That's why I want to try trends for you, so that we can see if this is worth the investment. So, and at the end of the video, I'll add more of my 2 cents on this, okay? So you saw me scoop up a little bit of this product on my brush. I do recommend that you start with a little bit, just so that you're able to like self-level it, apply it nice and smoothly. Again, it wants to, like, that's what it's meant to do. You're just supposed to guide it, and the pressure of your brush is basically it. And this is basically what is going to make or break your application. If you add pressure, it's going to remove product. If you just sort of float your brush right on top of that first layer, it will move the product where you want it to. So This is a longer nail, so I do see myself doing 2 coats for this because, as you can see, it's better to apply like in a thin layer, because if you can imagine, I can grab more, but also these glitters, they're kind of chunky glitters, and so they are going to obstruct the light from curing. So I do want that first layer to be like see-through, to have clear areas so that the light goes in there and cures it. So that's not going to take me very long. This gel spreads so nicely. I've always said that Japanese gel spreads like in a buttery consistency. These cake gels are even more so of that buttery consistency. Like, I leave my butter on the counter, okay? Maybe that's TMI. But it just stays like, when you leave it on the counter, it stays solid, right? But it just applies so smoothly versus you picking it up from the fridge and then trying to press and apply it. I'm telling you, this is butter left on your counter. That's the way this applies. No joke. That's like no other way I can explain it. So again, I'm going to do a thin coat on all 5 fingers, and then I'm going to go ahead and give that a full cure. Full cure is still 30 seconds, so standard. If you aren't sure, just do 60 seconds. Over curing will not hurt it. And then I'm going to come in with another layer. Okay, here we are looking and feeling fabulous. Okay, so the first layer you want to bring up as high as you want to. I know clients especially want it like close to the cuticle so that they can go a little longer with their manicure. You leave it at least somewhere at least halfway of the nail, okay? So like 2/3 of the nail. The next coat goes like another third of that, and so on and so forth. If you want to make it more dense, then do so, right? But just remember that the first coat should go at least 2/3 of the nail. And then we're gonna apply another one, and it doesn't really leave any pieces sticking up. Again, it's like if you just press them on there, they apply very smooth. I'm just going to continue doing this, and then I'm going to give this a 30-second cure. Now, while this is a very easy design to create or recreate, I did have some inspo for it. I was on my Instagram when something very sparkly popped up that looked like this. And I was like, oh my wow, I want these. Like, I want to recreate this. So this is, I believe, from a Korean nail artist. And I figured, well, I'm going to go to my Korean distributor, Zillabeau, and see what they got. And I remember their Myth Me Little Gel, and I thought I saw something like that. So I went with this one, the 42. And I'm going to try to recreate this with the studs and everything. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab my affix gel from Leaf Gel to apply some studs, some crystals, and just make this ultra blingy. I know I'm ahead of myself. I'm like in New Year's kind of nail status, nail feels, right? This feels so New Year's to me, so festive and whatnot, but it's fine. We're gonna own it for the fall. So you must know that Leaf Gel has two consistencies or viscosities in the affix gel. So for the purple bow, you want to use that one for the charms, the crystals, and then for the lighter one with the thinner viscosity, you want to use the one with the lilac bow, okay? So again, I'm just going to press a little bit there. If you just have one, then go ahead and use that. I would prefer that you have the more hard consistency one because it's just going to hold all of your stones. Now do make sure that when you're using like big dollops, right, you're digging your brush in the gel to pick up these big dollops, that you use a firm liner. I'm using the Nail Dots liner. This one is probably the firmest one that I own, and that's why I'm using that, because I do need to scoop and roll my brush and turn my brush and just drop this dollop, okay? Sorry, I'm a little bit out of frame here. I will get back in frame in just a moment. Now, it is important to know that most fixed gels nowadays are non-wipe. So once you apply these, you can actually just apply them right over the gel and not apply top coat. But because I haven't applied top coat on the entire nail yet, I am going to do so. And it is no crime to apply a little bit of it around your crystals. One thing you must know is that you cannot put clear coats over crystals that are high quality like Swarovskis or any other, because they are dimensional in their shine, and once you put that coat, you do make them one dimensional, so you need to go around them, and for that I do recommend you take your liner to do that. Okay, so that is it. I think this design is super easy, don't you think? I mean, the pasty gel, the Myth Milo gel, makes it super easy to make the gradation. It applies nice and flat. You could use a layer of base, a thin layer of base, to self level it, to give it more smoothness, but I didn't find that necessarily, especially if your top coat is a little bit thicker. I find that the Kira Lily gel top coat is good for that, and also the Ultra Glossy by Cocoas. They both have good thickness if you needed to clear out any imperfections as your final look. So now you see that I'm going over these crystals with my liner, just so that, you know, everything shines in one piece, and that I don't get the clear gel over the crystals. And this top coat is super shiny, so I am super excited. I think they came out fabulous, and it's super easy, not only for your time, but a quick way also to upgrade clients. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll try to link to the products, as many products as I remember to link, down below, but otherwise Zillabeau is where I bought most of these, if not all, except maybe the nail dots brush. So I'll post that link down in the description box below. I hope you enjoy this session with me, and you also learned a little bit about a cake gel. And again, I think it has a place in our industry. I don't personally see it taking over just like traditional gels. I even asked, I think, one of my colleagues online, I was like, okay, now that you've used it, because I had not used it at the time, what do you think? Do you think it's going to replace like gels in the pot? And then she's like, no. She's like, I liked it. But she was the one that said I didn't like it for line work and so on and so forth. But for gradations, and now that I've done even just the glitter one, I think this is where these lie. And I think that if other brands, especially within our niche of Japanese and Korean gels, comes out with more, then I will be interested in buying some for like quick gradations or ombre looks. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the information about cake gel. I hope you hung out with me, you know, and you just chilled. Totally fine. I hope you had fun. Either way, see you next week, and bye for now.